For those of you who don't know me, my name is Amanda McIntire, and this is the UVM OLLI Beginning Yoga class. This class is being offered through OLLI, through continuing and distance education, and it's open and free to everybody, which is just such a wonderful gift during this time. So I do hope that you feel free to share this link with your friends and family all over the place so that we can all be practicing together. This is a beginner class, and I can't see you. I don't know what it is that you're doing in your practice at home, and so I ask that you use your own best judgment as we go through our practice tonight. Make sure you're set up in a space that is safe, so that you're not gonna, if you happen to wobble over to the side, you're not gonna knock into something that could be harmful. And really make sure that you're listening to your own body as we go through our practice tonight. And I mean like what your body is feeling like right now during this hour that we're together. So not any perception of how you think that it should be, but how you're feeling right now. And if that means you need to go a little deeper in the practice or back off a little bit, perfect. That means you're paying attention to yourself and doing what you need to. So be kind to yourself and your body and your mind, and do what works best for you tonight. The only goal is for you to feel better at the end of our hour together than you do right now. As I was putting the class together, I'm always thinking of different things to be sharing with you, and I realized that I haven't really talked much about the 5 different motions of the spine that we think about as yoga teachers when we're putting together classes. And it's a great thing to be thinking about for yourself when you're thinking, like, what can I be doing in my own body at home that would feel good, that would be healthy? So there's 5 motions of the spine that we're always thinking about. One is finding length, so elongating, like when we sit up nice and tall. Forward folds, so when we hinge forward. Back bends, so when we're arching back. Anytime we're making lateral movements to either side, that's a separate motion. And then twisting is the final motion of the spine. So in a good yoga class, we're always trying to put together all 5 of those motions in a particular order to be most nourishing and beneficial to the body. And I thought that today it might be nice for us to focus specifically on twisting. So oftentimes, we're leaning forward, moving back, reaching side to side in normal motions that we're doing throughout our day. But twisting isn't something that we necessarily are typically doing. When I try to think of times where we're actually twisting, I most often think of when I'm driving in my car and I'm going in reverse and I'm not using the camera, but I'm actually turning to look behind me. And that's often a good indicator of like, how's the range of motion going in the neck and in the spine? But twisting the spine regularly in a gentle and deliberate sort of a way improves range of motion in the spine, which is really, really important and something we lose over time. It aids in digestion. So when we're twisting, we're getting all kinds of stuff moving in the internal organs. So that's pretty cool, right? We don't twist very often. How do we get movement going in our internal organs? Well, twisting allows the organs to be pushing against one another, and when we're twisting, there's this compression that happens. When that happens, it cuts off the blood circulation for just a moment, and then when you unwind or untwist, the blood flow comes right back into that organ or into that system, and it basically flushes it out. It's like it stops for just a moment, and then all this oxygen and nutrients comes to the organs. So that happens with your organs and with the digestive system in twisting. And all of this oxygenation, this movement in areas that don't move very often, many of us find that to be really calming in our nervous system. So a few little housekeeping things about the anatomy of a twist, because you really want to make sure that you're keeping yourself safe when you're doing twisting postures. So number 1 is making sure that you're rooted down whatever part of the body is connected to the floor. Often it's the hips, but sometimes it might be your hand or your feet. You want to make sure that whatever's connected to the floor is firmly rooted. You want to make sure that your spine is nice and long. And then from there, that's where we twist. And twists come from the very base of the spine, working all the way up. So often you'll hear me cue, we'll be sitting nice and tall, and I'll suggest that you inhale to sit up taller, and then exhale to rotate and twist. So we're always looking for space and length before we twist, and then as we exhale, that's when we start to compress and find that movement. So we're going to put all of those things together tonight. Most importantly, besides being kind to yourself, is making sure that you can breathe. So this inhaling to lengthen, this exhaling to twist is really important. But if you find yourself in a twist and you're not able to breathe fully and completely, or in any yoga posture for that matter, that is your body's way of saying, hey, you're going a little bit too far. I need you to back off so that I can get some more good full breaths of air in. So tonight, we're going to move the spine and we'll be focusing on twisting. Be kind to yourself, do your best. And remember, this is about your body. It's not how far can you twist, how deep can you twist. That's absolutely the opposite intention. The idea is how can you twist in a way that's going to feel best for your body tonight. So we'll start by doing some grounding, finding a nice comfortable seat, whatever that looks like for you tonight. And you're welcome to cross your legs. Tonight for me it's more comfortable to be on my knees, and I'm also sitting on a blanket and some blocks. Make sure that your weight is evenly distributed between both of your hips and that you're sitting up nice and tall, like there's a string from the crown of your head up to the ceiling that's helping you sit up a little taller. Let the pelvis rock forward a little bit, slight engagement in the belly, and then gently bring your shoulders up by your ears and then just let them relax down on your back like you're putting your shoulder blades in your back pocket, just really gently. Keep your chin parallel to the floor and close your eyes or bring them to a soft gaze as you allow yourself to arrive in this seat tonight. Maybe you're just arriving, just setting up your mat and getting the sound up on your computer right now. If you are, take your time. There's no rush. We have a whole hour together. Keep sitting up nice and tall as you connect with your breath. With every inhale, sitting up taller, longer, and brighter in your seat. With every exhale, letting go of your day, letting the shoulders relax and feeling the hips root into your seat. And just take a few full rounds of breath here, doing your best to quiet your mind as you still your body. Really breathing fully and completely with each inhale and with each exhale. Find that your mind starts to wander, just do your best to bring it back to your seat and check in with yourself. Make sure you're still sitting up nice and tall, a nice vessel for energy and breath. Bring your palms together in prayer position in front of your heart, still sitting up nice and tall. And we'll begin tonight's practice by chanting the sound of Om together. We're going to just chant it one time, and you can chant as softly or as loudly as you would like. So sit up nice and tall. Take a full exhale and a full inhale for Om. Release your hands and gently let your eyes flutter open as you come to a seat on your mat. If you're sitting on blocks, you might want to set them to the side, a blanket, or just sitting on the mat itself is fine. And come to a seat with your legs extended straight out in front of you. Make sure that the weight is evenly distributed between both of your hips so you're sitting up nice and tall. And then bend your right knee, placing the right foot flat on the floor. Bring your hands around the shin and use that connection to help you sit up a little bit taller in your seat. Notice my left foot is flexed, so this left leg is nice and active. Weight is even between both hips. Take the left arm around the right knee. Bring your right fingertips behind you for a gentle twist to the right. And we're just barely warming up here, so this doesn't have to be anything deep. This is just a gentle twist to the right. Inhaling to sit up a little taller, and then exhaling to go a little deeper if your body allows. On your next exhale, gently unwind back to center and switch sides. So right leg extends out, left knee comes in. And again, begin with the hands on the shin to help you sit up nice and tall. So the chest comes forward, shoulders come back. Right foot is flexed, and then right arm comes around the left knee as the left fingertips come behind. Very little weight in this back hand. Inhaling to sit up taller, and then exhaling to twist towards the left. Remember, the twist comes from the lowest part of the spine, and your head is the very last thing to turn. On your next exhale, unwind back to center, and then come onto your hands and knees in a tabletop position. And this is a great opportunity to cushion your knees. If they're tender, you can use a blanket to do that, or fold your mat over. And we're lining up the hips over the knees and the shoulders over the wrists, and then walk your hands forward ahead of your shoulders just a little bit so you have a nice wide angle in the wrists. On an inhale, you're going to tip the pelvis forward, drop the belly, drop the chest, take a look up towards the ceiling for cow pose. And then as you exhale, press into the hands, tuck the tailbone, pull the belly in, round the shoulders, and tuck the chin for cat pose. Inhale again, initiating from the tailbone, low back, chest, head lifts. Exhale, you're going to tuck the tailbone, pull the belly button in, hollow the chest, press the shoulder blades up. Last round. Inhale, tailbone goes up, belly drops, chest drops as your gaze lifts. Exhale to tuck the tailbone, pull the navel in, round the shoulders. Couple of breaths here. And then come back to a neutral spine, flat back. So we were moving the spine in sort of this wave motion. I now want you to think about your torso as a barrel rolling from side to side. So there's a couple of different images you can use of this. You could picture this barrel roll of the chest, if that makes sense to you, or like your torso is like a jump rope and you're swinging so folks can jump over you. And switch directions. This might feel awkward. You might not be totally sure if you're doing it right. Just do the best that you can. And then come to stillness. Press your hips back towards your heels. Come on into a child's pose. On an inhale, come back up to tabletop position. You're going to take your right knee, keeping it bent, extend the right leg out to the side. The right foot is flexed and the knee is bent. We call this fire hydrant pose. So maybe that will help you figure out the positioning of the leg. You're going to then use that right knee to draw circles. And the circles are really creating circles in the hip. So keep the upper body as still as you can. Use your right knee to create movement in the hip. And reverse direction with the circles. Nice. And then come to stillness, lowering the right knee back down, and we'll switch sides. So left leg goes out to the side, knee is bent, foot is flexed, and then using the knee, draw some circles. See how big you can make them. And remember, we're trying to get into the hip here. And make sure that you switch directions. Nice. And then release the left knee back down to the floor. Find a nice solid tabletop. And extend your right arm directly out in front of you. Keep the shoulder engaged, thumb is up. On your next inhale, extend the left leg directly behind you at hip height, keeping the left toes flexed towards the floor. Nice and steady, stay strong in the belly. And then just gently do some circles with the lifted hand if you can. So we're just making some circles with the wrists. Nice. Come to stillness with the hand and extend it out. And then relax the lifted foot, so that's the left foot. See if you can do some circles with the left foot, just pointing the toe, trying to create motion in the ankle. See if you can keep the hip still here. And if you don't quite make circles, that is okay. We're just trying to get some movement in the foot. Make sure you do both directions. Excellent. All right, come to stillness. Lower your right hand down to the mat. Extend the left foot over towards the right side. So my left toes are coming to the floor. And then take a look over your right shoulder. See if you can see those toes behind you. And this is getting a lateral stretch on the left side of the body. Strong in the belly, bring the leg back to center, and then lower the knee back down to the floor. And take any motions that might feel good for you here before we get ready to work on the other side. All right, so strong and steady. Core is nice and engaged. Extend your left arm directly out in front, and then extend the right leg directly behind. Nice. Keep your core engaged. Reach through the fingertips. Excellent. Lots of space. Steady breath. All right. Relax the hand and do some circles with the wrist. If you start to feel it in your low back, make sure you engage your belly. Switch directions with the wrist circles. Excellent. And then lower the left hand. Oh, no, keep it extended. No, we'll keep it extended. Relax your right toes and then do some circles with the ankle. Again, trying to stay as steady in the body as you can, so you're just moving the foot. Switch directions with your circles or zigzags, whatever they might be. Nice. All right. Come to stillness with the foot. You can now release your left hand to the mat. Take the right toes across the body so that they're on your left side. Take a look over your left shoulder towards the extended toes. Use your breath here. Create space. All right, nice and strong and steady. Bring the right leg back and drop the knee down to the floor. Once again, move your hips back towards your heels. Come on into child's pose. Inhale and come back up to all fours. Step your right foot forward to a low lunge. And once again, if you need to now cushion the knee, go for it. We want to make sure that our knees are hips width apart. You're standing up nice and tall on your left knee. Core is tucked in and you're standing up nice and tall. Nice. As you exhale, we're going to hinge the weight in the hips forward, opening up through this left quad and hip flexor, nice and strong in the belly. Let the arms float up. Take a look up. And if you're finding like, ooh, this feels a little bit wobbly, try hugging in at the thighs, hugging in at the belly. Exhale and bring your fingertips back down to the floor. Shift your hips back as you flex your right toes up towards the ceiling for a runner's stretch, or Ardha Hanumanasana. We still have this left knee bent. We're extending the torso over the right leg. This is a nice place for some blocks. And of course, because we're twisting, we need to add a little twisting action to this. So let's take the left hand and bring it to the outside of the right ankle. You can have your hand on the shin, the floor, or the block. All right, bend into the front knee once again, standing up nice and tall. Left hand stays on the knee. As you inhale, sweep the right arm open to the side as we find some motion in the thoracic spine through a twist here. The hips stay square to the front of the mat. Exhale to unwind, back to center, and we'll switch sides. So hands come to the floor, right knee comes back as you step the left foot forward, and get yourself situated so that you're really standing up nice and tall with intention, nice and strong in the belly. As you exhale, start to shift the weight in the hips forward, opening up through this right side. Nice and strong, inhale, arms come up. You're squeezing everything in towards the midline. You can stay here or a little bit of a back bend, opening up through the shoulders and chest. All right, exhale, come back to center. Bring your hands down towards the floor as you shift the hips back. Left toes flex up towards the ceiling as the torso extends over the leg. And sometimes it helps to actually use your hand to get the leg extended. So if you find your knee is bent and you're like, oh, I know this leg can be straighter, feel free to guide it. Nice long spine, and we'll do a little twist action. So right hand comes on the left side of the left ankle. And nice place for a block if you have one. If not, you can bring your hands to the floor or your shin. Excellent. Unwind back to center. Bend into the front knee once again, bringing your hands to the front thigh. And then right hand stays on the knee. As you inhale, sweep the left arm, twisting towards the side, keeping the hips facing straight ahead. As you exhale, unwind back to center. Come back down to all fours. And find child's pose one more time. Moving your hips back towards your heels, finding length in the back body. As you inhale, come back up to tabletop. Walk your hands forward a bit. Walk the knees back a bit. You're going to tuck your toes and come on up to plank, which is top of a push-up. We're lining up the shoulders with the wrists. Your legs are straight. You're up on your toes. And your core is engaged, so you're pulling in just below the belly button. Tailbone is tucked towards your heels. And you're looking out on the floor ahead of your mat, so you have a nice, long, open neck here. On your next inhale, keep your hands and feet where they are, and move your hips up and back to downward facing dog. So if this is new to you, you're pressing your hands into the mat. Your hands are shoulder width apart or wider. You're pushing your hips up and back to the upper back corner where the ceiling and the wall meet behind you. Legs are straight and your feet are hips distance apart. Pedal the feet out, so alternate moving each heel closer to the floor and bending the knee. Nice. Come to stillness with the legs, and then walk your feet up towards your hands so that you're at a forward fold at the top of your mat. So that means your feet are hips distance apart and parallel. There's a little soft bend in the knees and you're hinged forward at the hips. Grab opposite elbows here. Let your head relax so that the crown of your head is pointing towards the floor. Keep the lower body still as you gently rock your torso from side to side. Come to stillness with the upper body. Release the elbows. Bend your knees. Get your hips underneath you. As you inhale, reach your arms wide. Arms come all the way up overhead. Connect the palms. Exhale and bring your hands to your heart. Nice job. All right. Find yourself here. Do any adjusting that you need to with your clothes or your mat. And find your feet hips distance apart and parallel. Stand up nice and tall. Make sure that your core is engaged. I'll give you a little side view. So I have a soft bend in the knees and my hands are on my hips. Stick the tailbone out and pull the lower abdominals in. That's the muscles below the belly button. If you're not sure where they are, feel free to feel around for them. So nice and strong, pulling the lower belly in. Then tailbone becomes more neutral, pointing towards the floor, and my ribs are tucked in. Now I'm really strong through the center. Straightening the legs, arms released down by my sides. I'm going to give you the front view. Mountain pose, nice and strong here. Engaged from the feet, legs, core, all the way up the torso. Inhale and float your arms up. Are you still really strong in the belly? Keep your shoulders relaxed and keep your hips pointing towards the front of the mat. And we're going to just gently twist the upper body towards the right side. So think about pulling your left hip back to keep the hips square. Make your way through center and then over to the other side. We'll twist to the left. Think about pulling the right hip back. And inhale to come back to center. Fingertips lift. Take a look up. Exhale, hinge at the hips and fold all the way down. Take your right hand and bring it to the outside of your left leg. Bend the right knee, left leg stays straight, and on an inhale, we're going to reach the left fingertips up for a twist. So, right knee is bent, left leg is straight, right hand is on the straight leg, and my left fingertips have lifted. You can look towards the floor, the side wall, or up towards your lifted hand. Keep your belly tucked in. Nice long spine. Exhale to unwind, and we'll switch sides. So left hand goes to the outside of the right leg. The left knee bends, and as you inhale, you'll reach your right fingertips up for a twist. And exhale to release. Bring your hands to your hips, press into your feet, and come all the way up to standing. Nice. Find mountain pose again, so nice and strong in your core. And then take your right foot and cross it over your left leg. Now, if you find tonight that that does not feel accessible for you, there's plenty in this posture for you. So make your decision, but do your best if you can cross the leg over and stand up nice and tall. As you inhale, sweep the arms up overhead, and with the left hand, grab a hold of the right wrist. So we've got some crossing of the legs going on, core is engaged, lots of space between the ears and shoulders. On an exhale, we're going to arch over towards the left side. And again, if this doesn't work in the lower body for you, you can have your feet hips distance apart rather than crossed. Exhale to come back to center. Release that, and we'll switch sides. So this time the left foot goes across the right leg. Stand up nice and tall. As you inhale, arms come up overhead. And then this time the right wrist grabs a hold of the left, and we'll arch over towards the right side. Nice. And inhale to come back to center. Release that. Find yourself at the top of your mat. Inhale and float the arms up. Exhale, hinge at the hips and fold all the way forward. Bring your fingertips down towards the floor or to blocks. And then step your right foot back to a lunge. So we want to have the front knee, which is the left knee, lined up over the ankle. The back leg is straight, hips are buoyant, and your hands are connected to the floor or to blocks. Make sure that you have as much space as you possibly can have along the neck. Plant your right hand on the floor or on a block and reach your left fingertips up for a twist. We're keeping the lower body steady, twisting through the upper spine. Exhale to lower the lifted hand back down and make your way back to plank, top of a push-up. You might need to come to your knees first, but we're going to end up with the shoulders over the wrists and the core nice and strong. If you want a little added challenge in this plank tonight, you're welcome to hover your right foot off of the mat. If you do that, make sure you keep the integrity of the posture. And if you're feeling enough in your plank tonight and you don't want to lift your foot, by all means, stay where you're at. If the right foot is lifted, lower it, and then drop your knees, point your toes, and use the strength of your arms to bring your torso all the way down to the floor. Hands are underneath the shoulders. As you inhale, gently peel the chest up off the mat for baby cobra. As you exhale, lower your head and chest back down. Tuck your toes and work your way back to downward dog. You can go through tabletop or plank, but we'll end up with the hips in the air. And then walk your feet forward, coming to a forward fold at the top of your mat. Feel all four corners of your feet connected to the floor. Bring your hands to your hips, press into your feet, and come on up to standing. Inhale and float the arms up. Exhale and sit back for Utkatasana, or fierce pose. In this posture, you're shifting the weight back in your hips, nice and strong. Nice. Bring your palms together at your heart. Exhale to straighten the legs and hinge forward, Uttanasana, or forward fold. This time, step your left foot back to a lunge. And make any adjustments that you need to. It doesn't have to be just one fluid motion. Find a nice solid lunge for yourself. Knee over the ankle, nice straight back leg. Hands are on the floor or on the blocks. Nice long spine. Connect your left hand to the floor or a block as you reach your right fingertips up for a twist. Make sure you can breathe deeply and fully here. If you find your breathing is compromised, back out of the posture a little bit. Exhale to release the lifted hand and work your way back to plank, top of a push-up. Remember, you can always come to your knees Or you can try hovering your left foot up off of the mat if you want a little more challenge tonight. All right, lower the foot. You can either lower down in one straight line or join me in dropping the knees, pointing the toes, and bringing your torso all the way down to the mat. All right, so bring your hands to the outside of the mat on the floor beside you and bring them up to, we call these gecko fingers. So come on up on your fingertips, press into the fingertips, and peel the chest up. So this is like a modified cobra with some gecko hands. Nice and strong in the belly. Take a look over the right shoulder, a little bit of a twist. Come through center and over towards the left side. Exhale to come back to center. Lower the chest back down. Bring your hands underneath the shoulders. Tuck your toes and make your way back to downward dog, either through plank or through tabletop. Walk your hands back towards your feet so that you're at a forward fold at the back of your mat. Bring your hands to your hips, press into your feet, and come on up to standing. You should be at the back of your mat. Nice job. Okay, so let's find ourselves here, feet hips distance apart and parallel. And pro tip, so we're about to do a little bit of balancing, and especially if like you're in your living room and you have really cushy carpeting, you might want to step off of your mat. The harder the surface, the more forgiving it is for balance postures. But I've been getting all kinds of feedback from students on how frustrating they find tree pose to be, and so I'm happy to incorporate more tree pose so we can keep working on that together tonight. So, make a connection between your left foot and the floor. Really feel that left foot pressing into the mat. Start to shift your weight, freeing the right foot, and we're going to bring it to a little kickstand position here. So the toes are connected to the floor, the foot's pressing into the ankle is pressing into the foot, and you're standing up nice and tall. Now you might be tempted to move your foot up higher if you're more of an experienced yogi, but I encourage you to join me with the toes connected to the floor tonight. On an inhale, float your arms up overhead. Stay really engaged in the legs here, really engaged in the belly. Keep your shoulders relaxed. All right, so hips are going to stay square to the front of the mat, and you're going to just gently twist towards the bent knee, which is towards the right side. Keep pulling that left hip back. Gently come to center, and then over to the other side. So we're going to twist towards the standing leg. Keep pulling the right hip back, and come back to center. Connect the palms and bring them to your heart. Bring the knee forward. Shake it out a little bit. And then other side. So make sure your right foot is firmly rooted. Start to shift your weight, and we're going to free the left foot, placing it against the ankle. Again, this little kickstand position. Make sure your core is engaged, so legs are strong, core is strong. You're standing up nice and tall. Inhale and float your arms up overhead. Keep the shoulders relaxed, ribs tucked in. And then keeping your hips square to the front of the mat, we're going to just gently twist towards the bent knee, which is the left side. Keep pulling the right hip back here. Unwind to center. And then over to the other side. So we're going to twist towards the right. Keep pulling the left hip back just very gently to keep the hips square. And unwind back to center. Connect the palms and bring them to your heart. Bring the knee forward, release and shake it out. Come on up to the middle of your mat and come to a wide-legged stance and stand up nice and tall. Extend your arms out to a T, five-pointed star, lots of space between the fingers, the arms. Bring your hands to your hips as you exhale. Come to a flat back, so you're looking down at the floor. Nice and strong in the legs, strong in the core. Bring your right fingertips to the floor or to a block. And as you inhale, float your left fingertips up for a twist. Exhale and lower the left hand down, and we'll switch sides. So left hand is on the floor or a block. As you reach the right fingertips up, Staying nice and strong in the belly, knowing that these twists are moving the organs and bringing blood flow to places that would love to have more nourishment. Exhale to lower the right hand down and hinge at the hips to fold as far forward as is comfortable for you. Bring your hands to your hips, press into your feet, and come on up to standing. Come on to the middle of your mat, heel toe or walk it on in, and then come on up to the top of your mat. Nice job. Find mountain pose once again. So feet hips distance, nice and strong, standing up nice and tall. Feel your left foot firmly rooted. And then once again, start to shift the weight into the left foot and see if you can come up on your right toes. Stand up nice and tall. Nice. Now you might be working on this move this evening, and if you are, perfect. See how tall you can stand, see if you can get some space between your foot and the floor. If you're feeling really grounded, maybe you can get that right foot up off of the mat. And if you're able, maybe even hands can come around the shin. Wherever you're at, whether you're holding onto the shin or whether your toe is connected to the floor, keep standing up nice and tall. Bring your hands to your hips and step your right toes back to a high lunge. So you might need to scoot a little bit. In this high lunge, your back heel is lifted and the back leg is straight. You're bending in the front knee and it's aligned with the front ankle. Nice and strong in the belly. Arms are down by your sides. Inhale and reach the arms up. Bring your hands to heart center. And on your next inhale, you're going to open out to the left side. So that means your right hand is in front of you, your left hand is behind, and you're twisting towards your bent knee. Use your breath anywhere that could use it. Maybe it's your hips, your spine, your shoulders, all of it. On your next exhale, come back to center. Nice. Bring your hands to your hips, press into the front foot and come on up. Shake it out if you need to. And then we'll find the other side. So, right foot is firmly rooted and you're standing up nice and tall. Core is engaged, everything is integrated and strong. Start to shift your weight as you come up onto your left toes. And once again, see where you're at. So maybe we're working on just a little bit of space, or maybe you're able to get the knee up to hip height and hold on to the shin. Wherever you're at, find stability. Give yourself credit for trying this out. Hands come to the hips wherever you're at and step your left toes back to a high lunge. And again, make any adjustments that you need to. Back heel is lifted, leg is straight, front knee is bent, and we're keeping that knee in alignment with the front ankle. Strong belly, inhale, float the arms up, nice relaxed shoulders. Connect the palms, bring them to your heart. And on an inhale, we'll open out to the right side. So your left hand is in front, right hand is behind, squeezing in at the thighs. And unwind to come back to center. Hands come to the hips. Kick off the back foot and come on up. Shake it out. All right, one more time. Find that left foot grounded and rooted. It helps sometimes to actually take a look down and make that connection with your brain of where your foot is at. Once again, start to shift your weight. Come on up on your right toes. Maybe you're feeling more grounded this time and have a little more space you can find between the foot. Maybe you're feeling less grounded. Wherever you're at is totally fine. It is what it is. But we're standing nice and tall and strong. If you can get the knee up, great. If not, no worries. Wherever you're at, you're going to take your left hand and place it on the bent knee. And you're going to extend the right arm behind you if you're able to tonight. And for an added challenge, maybe you can turn your head and look at the hand behind you. So whether your foot is connected to the floor, whether your foot is in the air, see if maybe you can do a little bit of twisting here. Don't get discouraged if you fall out of it. Gently unwind back to center. Hands come to the hips and the foot lowers. Shake it out a little bit. Nice job. So remember, this is not a competition. I'm not watching, that's for sure. So really be kind to yourself here. So maybe that means you're getting your foot up high and then you're falling onto your sofa. Hopefully it's something that's cushy. Totally fine. Maybe you're coming up on the toe and doing one of these kind of twists. Perfect. This is all a practice. And we get two sides, so let's try the other side. Maybe this side is a little stronger, maybe not. But take a look down and make a connection with that right foot. Begin to shift your weight. You're so strong in the legs and in the core that you're able to easily find some lightness in this left foot. See if you can come up on the toe. Standing strong and steady. See if you can find some space, maybe even lifting the knee up to hip height. Wherever you're at, you're super grounded in the standing foot, strong in the core, and your shoulders are on your back. Keep your right hand on the bent leg as you extend the left arm behind you. And if you want a little bit more, you can try seeing if you can turn your head to look at the hand behind you. Again, your foot can be lifted or it can be more connected to the floor. This posture is called Utthita Astapadagasana. All right, gently unwind back to center. Nice job. Lower the lifted foot, shake it out a little bit. Find a nice, tall, strong mountain pose. Inhale and float the arms up. As you exhale, hinge at the hips and fold forward, Uttanasana, or forward fold. Walk your way back to downward facing dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana. If you want to go to plank first and then move to down dog from there, that's not a bad idea. Pedal the feet out once again, so alternating, moving each hip, bending each knee. Nice. And then come to stillness with the legs and lower your knees down to the floor and scoot around to a seat. Nice. So we'll begin with the knees bent and the feet flat on the floor. Bring your hands behind your thighs and bring your shoulders down on your back as you sit up nice and tall. Engage your abdominal muscles, so pull the lower belly in, tuck the ribs, poke at it if you're not quite sure where those muscles are. Nice and strong, see if you can tip back and get your feet up off of the mat. This might be plenty, or if you want a little added challenge, bring your shins to parallel. Wherever you're at, check in with your breath. So make sure you can really breathe fully and completely. If you're struggling for breath, maybe you need to take a little bit of a break or lower the feet. Now, you're welcome to stay here or free the hands. And since we are doing a twisting kind of a class, I felt like maybe we should do a little bit of a boat twist. So you can stay right here because this is plenty. But if you want a little bit more, clasp your hands out in front of you. Stay strong and steady. Make sure you're breathing. Bring your hands over towards your right hip. Inhale to extend them out. And then you're going to bring them over to the left hip. Inhale to extend. Exhale over to the right. Inhale to extend. Exhale over to the left. Come on back to center. Reach the arms out. Nice job. As you exhale, come to a cross-legged seat, sitting up nice and tall. Nice job. Extend the legs out so that you're in a wide-legged seat. And this does not have to be the widest seat you've ever done. We're just looking for a nice, tall spine and a wide angle. Toes and knees are facing the ceiling. Make sure that your hips are firmly rooted. Your core is nice and strong. And then we're going to start on the right side. So we're going to take the right arm and bring it on the inside of the leg. Now, if this isn't quite accessible, maybe it's just the hand. But notice my palm is up. That helps to open the shoulder. Reaching over towards the right side, I'm going to reach my left arm up overhead, and then I'm going to turn my chest so I'm looking up towards the ceiling. So that's where this twisting element comes in this wide-legged seat tonight. So both shoulders are back and twisting the chest up towards the ceiling. On an inhale, come back up to center, and we'll do the other side. So left arm or left hand on the inside of the left leg, and we'll reach the right arm overhead, spiraling the chest up towards the ceiling, keeping the shoulders and neck relaxed. And inhale to come back to center. Use your hands to gently Bend the knees and bring the soles of the feet together. Grab a hold of the ankles, and you decide how close or far you want your feet from your body. It's totally up to you. And then gravity in your hips are going to decide how close your knees are to the floor. Your job is to sit up tall and hold on to the ankles. Nice and strong in the belly, a little bit of a back bend. So use the hands on the ankles to create a bit of a back bend, opening the chest and shoulders here. And then as you exhale, you're going to start to release. You can pull the belly in, let the spine round. You can free your hands from the ankles as we come into this forward fold. Walk the hands in as the torso rises back up. Use your hands to gently guide the knees together, and then extend your legs straight out in front of you for Dandasana or staff pose. Keep your feet flexed to keep some activity and action in the legs. Have your legs as straight as they can be, but if you need a little bend in them, do that. Your hands are on either side of the hips as you sit up nice and tall. And notice I have very little weight in my hands. It's all the strength is in my torso and in my legs. Inhale and float the arms up. Exhale, hinge at the hips and fold forward. Let your hands go wherever they reach. Keep a nice long neck here, nice long spine. As you inhale, lengthening the spine. As you exhale, sinking a little bit deeper. And then gently walk the hands in as the torso rises up. Bend your right knee. With your left hand, grab a hold of the pinky toe side of your right foot. And we're going to extend the leg out. If you can straighten the leg, great. If the leg is just bent, that's fine as well. You're sitting up nice and tall, holding the foot. As you inhale, you'll sweep the right arm behind you for a twist. So your right hand's behind you, left hand is holding onto the right foot. If you need to have the knee bent like so, that's fine. If you can extend the leg out, that is great as well. As you exhale, unwind back to center and lower the leg back down. We'll switch sides. So bend the left knee, right hand grabs a hold of the outside of the foot. Nice and strong, extend the leg, and as you inhale, sweep the left arm behind you for a twist. On an exhale, unwind back to center and release. Nice job. All right, where are we at? Ooh, perfect. So scoot on up to the top of your mat. Knees are bent and feet are flat on the floor. Sit up nice and tall, nice and strong in the belly. Extend your arms out, and then we'll gently lower down to the mat. Keep your feet connected to the floor. See how long you can keep them grounded. And then once you've reached your limit, you can just let yourself relax down onto the floor. Keep your knees bent with your feet flat on the mat and relax your arms down by your sides. Cross your right ankle over your left thigh. Keep your hands connected to the ground. Using your left leg, bring both legs in towards the body. So both of my feet are flexed. Both arms are connected to the floor with the palms face down for extra stability. And I'm pushing the left leg into the right leg to open up the hip. And if you want a little bit more of a stretch, you can take your right hand, place it on the inner right thigh, and press it out to the side a little bit to get more of a hip opener. Everyone's so different in the hips. So for some of us, this is a really intense stretch, and for others, we're still looking for where the stretch is. Wherever you're at is perfect because it's your practice. All right, release both feet down to the floor, and we'll switch sides. So left ankle comes over the right thigh. Both feet are flexed as you press the legs into the body. Both hands are still connected to the floor. Shoulders are nestled down on your back. And this might be plenty, or if you want a little bit more, you can take your left hand on the inside of the left thigh, opening it more towards your right foot, actually. Really opening up through the left hip. and release both feet down to the floor. Hug your knees in towards your chest and gently rock from side to side and front to back. Place your left foot on the floor, extend your right foot up towards the ceiling, walk your hands up as far as feels comfortable on this leg, pulling it a little bit closer towards the body. And as you're doing this, just check in with your shoulders. Make sure they're still nestled down on your back and that they're not scrunched up by your ears. Make sure your belly is still tucked in. Lower the right foot down to the mat. Extend the left foot up towards the ceiling. And again, have your hands go up as far as is comfortable. So maybe it's the thigh, but maybe you can also reach the shin or more towards your ankle. And pull the leg a little closer to the body. Nice. Lower your left foot down to the mat. Both of your arms are down on the floor beside you. Press into your feet, lift the hips up, and scoot your hips over towards the left edge of your mat. As you do that, let your knees fall over towards the right. Extend your arms out to a T, and if it feels comfortable, turn your head towards the left hand. So we're in a reclined twist. And this is really meant to be a passive posture. That means that there's little effort and little holding on your part. So you might need to adjust in order to allow your knees to relax down on the mat. So your legs don't have to be stacked. They can if you want them to be. But feel free to move around to make this posture more comfortable for yourself. Gently unwind back to center. Knees are bent and feet are flat on the floor. Press into the feet, lift the hips up, and scoot your hips over towards the right side of the mat. And let your bent knees fall over towards the left as your head turns towards the right. Again, feel free to scoot around. Try stacking the knees, maybe unstacking them. Maybe it feels good to straighten the top leg instead. Do what works best for you in this posture. See if you can find a way to relax here. Gently bring your knees back to center, feet flat on the floor. Bring your feet wide on the mat and let your knees fall in on one another. You might need to do a little bit of scooting to make this so that really the legs are supporting one another without your effort. Arms are down by your sides with your palms face up, shoulders nestled down. This is one of your options for our final resting posture of Shavasana. Keep your shoulders where they are. Heel toe your feet together. Bring the soles of the feet to connection and let the knees open wide for Supta Baddha Konasana, or reclined bound angle pose. This is another option for Shavasana. Using your hands, gently guide the knees together and hug your knees in towards your chest, nice and tight. Gently rock from side to side or front to back. And then hugging the knees in towards the chest, on an exhale, lift your head up and squeeze everything in. So squeeze your toes, squeeze your face, squeeze your torso, squeeze your everything nice and tight, tight little ball. And then as you exhale, release yourself down to the mat, and we're going to move into Shavasana. You can have your feet wide and your knees together. You can have your feet together and your knees wide. Or if you want to take a traditional Shavasana, you can extend your legs straight out on the mat. And your feet are mat width apart and just relaxed off to the sides. If you need a blanket to cover up or to put underneath your knees for more comfort, do that. Your shoulders are nestled down on your back, so it might help to press the back of the head into the mat as you lift the shoulders up and down. And then your arms are by your sides with the palms face up. Let the backs of your hands be off the mat. Feel this connection between your back body and the floor beneath you. Close your eyes and just rest. With every exhale, let yourself melt a little bit deeper into the floor. Slowly allow your breath to deepen. And let some movement return back to your fingers and your toes. On your next inhale, extend your legs out nice and long and reach your arms up overhead. Maybe you can even touch the floor behind you, but make one long final stretch from your fingertips all the way down to your toes. Hug your knees in towards your chest as you gently roll on to your right side. Just pausing for another moment, letting the floor support you. Using as little effort as possible and keeping your eyes closed, make your way up to a seat and find a nice, tall, intentional seat, just like you had in the beginning. When you find that seat, bring your palms together in prayer in front of your heart. I am so grateful that you made the effort to come and practice with me tonight. When we practice yoga, it's not just good for ourselves, but it's good for all of those around us. I hope you've learned a little bit more about movements in the spine and how to execute a twist. And maybe you're feeling a little bit more calm or a little more open than when we started. We will close our practice tonight by chanting the Sound of Ohm. And we'll chant it just one time, as loudly or as softly as you would like. So sit up nice and tall. Take a full exhale. And an inhale for Ohm. The light in me honors and acknowledges the light in each of you with great respect. Namaste. Thank you so much for coming and for practicing tonight. We will be here again next week, same time, same place. Feel free to share with your friends. The more the merrier. Have a great week.